Good afternoon, Red Wolves, and welcome back to another installment of Around A-State. I'm your host, Blaze Cantrell, and today I'm with the Arkansas Beta Chapter President of Arkansas State's newest fraternal organization, Phi Delta Theta. I am with President Kamryn Alkire today. Kamryn, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you today,
I'm
Blaze?
super excited to have you on the show. I've had a great day. So obviously the purpose of this show is to kind of like dive a little deeper into our organizations here on campus, all of our RSOs, and we chose Phi Delta Theta obviously because it's our newest fraternal organization. So I'm going to kind of like jump into some questions with you so we can educate our viewers. So the first question I'm going to ask is, what would Phi Delta Theta mean to you in your own words?
So Phi Delta Theta is the newest organization on campus. It is a fraternity, but I view it more as a brotherhood for life as compared to a fraternity. The connections and the friendships that we make within this time here at college doesn't just end at graduation. It keeps going for the rest of our lives, and that's something that I really call Phi Delta Theta.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I'm involved with Greek life as well, and I view it like, we like to say it's more than just 4 years because it's the rest of your life. Right. Like when you join an organization like this, it's really cool because you meet so many people and you make so many connections. So I think that's really special about Greek life in general.
Absolutely.
What would you say made you join Phi Delta Theta? Like, how did you decide on that?
Yeah, so I'm a junior this year. I'm also in the nursing program, so my schedule is really hectic. But I guess what made me join Phi Delta Theta this year, the past couple of years, I've been interested in Greek life, but I never made that full commitment because of my schedule with everything that's going on. But this past semester with COVID, I've been having a lot more free time, especially the fall semester. So this organization was a perfect way to make a difference on this campus somehow and just be a bigger part of an organization.
Right, awesome. And I know that you guys are the founding fathers of this chapter, and that's like a big deal, coming to a campus and like being the first people to join the organization. How would you say that like the organization has changed your life in college since you joined?
Right. So being the president, I definitely have a lot more things going on.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
There's always something to do, always a form to fill out, but with all that being said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It keeps me busy, keeps me going, keeps me in line.
Yeah.
So I love every Sunday at chapter, seeing all the boys, and just getting started off to a good week.
Yeah, I know that is a really special thing, especially when you get to be in chapter in person finally instead of just being all virtual.
Exactly.
It's truly like we've gotten to do that this semester too, and that's been really awesome to see everybody. So now before we ask you some more questions, I understand we have a video that shows a little more into your brotherhood and kind of like hear from some of the founding fathers. So I guess we will watch that and see some more of what the other brothers think about Phi Delta Theta here at Arkansas State.
Awesome.
What does it mean for you to be a Phi Delta?
To me, it means being the best version of myself every day.
Setting an example on campus, but also just being that leader.
I have the opportunity to better myself alongside all these other great men.
It means being a leader. We're part of this group of guys who's just focused on improving ourselves and like each other.
Just the sense of brotherhood and community.
And instead of putting others down or hoping that they fail to feel better, I hope that I can bring my brothers up and we can be our best versions of ourselves together.
Having those goals for yourself and setting an example for like the rest of the campus.
To meet higher goals and just like to not settle with what you would have beforehand.
I never really thought that I would join a fraternity until I met some of the guys in this group.
I never thought that I would have the time or want to put in the effort to be in a fraternity, let alone Phi Delt.
And it really opened my mind about what a fraternity is and what we can do together as a group of guys.
I felt like I needed to do more. I needed to be a bigger part of this campus, and Phi Delt was the perfect way to do that.
Awesome. I'm super glad we got to play that, kind of hear from some other founding fathers of this chapter. So say someone wanted to join Phi Delta Theta. How would, if someone who's interested, go about joining the fraternity?
Right. So especially this spring semester, it's an open bid application. So there's no formal rush this semester for the guys. So basically, if you're interested, you can feel free to contact me or any other guys that are within the organization. If you look hard enough, you'll usually find anybody just walking around the union or to class. everyone usually has their shirts on or their mask on.
Yes,
so,
they do. I've seen
yeah.
so many Phi Delt masks this year.
But yeah, so it's an open bid application. If anything, you can contact Greek Life and they can get you our information. But we are planning on hosting a few more recruitment events this semester just to get our name out there and to get the campus more familiar with our organization. We plan to do a baseball tailgate for recruitment this Tuesday, but that was postponed to another date because baseball got canceled. So we'll be planning a baseball tailgate pretty soon. Maybe go out to eat one night with a couple of the guys if you want to meet us. There's really just several options that we can do, even though it is limited because of COVID, but we're trying to work around that.
Right, and I know that there are ways to do that considering the circumstances, because we've all had to work through all of that this year. It's been super crazy with every organization, like including things like this. So that's awesome. So what happens after someone signs their bid card? Like what happens next in the process?
Okay, so once you sign the bid card, so basically Phi Delta Theta was inducted last semester and will be initiated as an official chapter of Phi Delta Theta this semester. So how that process is, there's an induction ceremony for the guys that are coming in this semester, and we will run that for them. And then after that, we all have to go through, they're called Phi Chi modules. They're basically just training on what it means to be a Phi Delt. The three words that we base ourselves on is friendship, sound learning, and rectitude. So there's modules for each one of those. We go through them, learn about more about being a Phi Delt and the history of it, as well as taking a final exam at the end to see where we're at knowledge-wise.
That is awesome. It's really cool to kind of like when you join an organization, get to see what their values are all about and learn their history and like where they were founded and different things like that. So that's really cool. I understand that you said that you guys are going to reschedule the tailgate. Do you have any more upcoming events, like philanthropy events or anything that you guys are doing through Phi Delt?
Yeah, philanthropy. So for those of you who don't know, our philanthropy is ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and we have a whole week planned out coming up in March or April, and every single day we're going to be doing something different, raising money. Last semester we did what was called the Phi Olympics. So basically a bunch of the guys got together and we said, hey, we're going to work to get as fit as we can for the next couple months. So what we did was we started working out, and in the process we asked several other people, like, hey, would you like to help raise money for ALS? And in doing that, for every pound that we lifted in our weight, so bench press, squat, deadlift, let's say for every pound that we lift, can you donate 10 cents? And it gave us motivation to be as fit as we can in those couple months, and it also just let the people giving the money give to ALS. So I think in doing that, we raised $1,300, I think.
That's awesome.
Which it would have been a lot bigger without COVID, but
Yes.
because of COVID, there was a lot
Everything
of restrictions.
is very different.
We were trying to get the whole campus involved, but we could only do it with the Phi Delt guys, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to next year because we're planning to do that again, and
Yeah.
we're planning to have it bigger and better.
Yes, awesome. So I know that it's like a big deal for a new chapter to come to campus. So like, do you know anything about the process of getting a charter to like come onto campus? Like, what was that process like?
I'm not entirely sure. So general headquarters is in Ohio.
Yeah.
And a guy named Seth Crane works for Phi Delta Theta. He's a really great guy. And basically, he goes from school to school that doesn't have Phi Delta Theta yet, and he starts an emerging chapter. So he came here at the end of the summer, starting in the fall, and went from 0 guys, recruited 36 of us, or 39 of us, excuse me. And from then on, we've added a couple more, and we're really excited to just keep that number going, and hopefully we'll be the biggest fraternity in the next couple years.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys are definitely on the right track to do that. You guys have grown. I've watched it myself. I have a ton of friends in Phi Delt, so I've watched you guys just expand. And that's awesome because obviously we love to see it. We love to see the students coming together and joining an organization that means so much to them and putting so much of their time back into this campus because at the end of the day, I feel like that shows a lot about the character of A-State in general.
Right.
Do you know about how many chapters that Phi Delt has across like America?
Yeah, so I can't tell you the exact number off the top of my head, but we are the second largest chapter in the country.
Wow.
We've got, I think, 5 or 6 chapters in Canada.
Yeah.
And there's several in California. Arkansas now has 2. The first one was at Fayetteville, and now here in Jonesboro. So
that's awesome.
It's really awesome to see just all these guys all around the world in leadership conferences and stuff. We all get on a Zoom call right now because of COVID, and just seeing all these guys come from different places but all have the same mindset of becoming the greatest version of yourself and lifting up the brothers around you to be the best that they can be within college and for the rest of their life.
Yes, awesome. And then I did want to ask you talked about that leadership summit because we do the same thing where we go and we get to meet sisters from all over the place, which is really cool to make those connections too, because you meet those people and you know that they share that bond that you have. What are some leadership positions that you can get within your chapter to, maybe expand and branch out and where you can move on up the ladder and get leadership positions on campus as well?
Okay. So it starts off with the president, which is me, vice president, social chair, philanthropy chair, treasurer, secretary. There's also the warden and risk management as well. And those are exec positions, and then you move down to the general officer positions, which only last a semester long as opposed to a whole academic year. But like the Brotherhood chair who plans all the Brotherhood events, scholarship chair who keeps us in line with grades, apparels chair, so any T-shirts that we design, he's in charge of that. So you can get involved any way you want to. You can just be a member or you can be the president. I mean, there's so many things you can do within the fraternity, and it's what you make it. So the more you put time in, the more it'll benefit you.
I completely agree. As much as you give in, it'll give you so much more in return. Like, the connections you make is absolutely out there. It's crazy. You can, I know, like, I use my positions within my sorority to even, like, work my way into campus organizations and get involved that way. So it's really cool to see what you can do. Since you've been a Phi Delt, what is one of your favorite memories that you've made with your brothers?
There's been a lot of memories. So I would say the very first Brotherhood event we had, it was in the middle of nowhere. We all got together with an alumni's cabin, and we had a bonfire. So there was 30-something of us sitting around the fire. It was a pretty, miserable fire. It wasn't a big one, but we just all sat around and ate some hot dogs and some hamburgers, and just really talked about what it means to be in this chapter, in this brotherhood. I got to learn a lot about each individual there, and I saw that even though we come from so many different places, so many different cultures, that we all come together and we all strive to be the best we can all the time. And just having those guys that have the same mindset as me, it really motivates me into doing the best schoolwork I can to be the best person I can on campus, to make an impact so that when I leave A-State, I don't have any regrets.
Absolutely. I love that. That's great. I feel like everyone should have a mindset like that, and joining an organization like this will definitely help you do so. So, before we go today, is there any events that you want to kind of plug, or what's you guys' like Instagram or social media or anything that everyone can follow? Yeah,
so we do have an Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's Phi Delt at A-State, something A-State Phi Delt. I'm not in charge of the Instagram. I'm really not very tech savvy, so I'm trying the best I can. But so you can give us a follow, and we'd love to talk to you, connect with you any way we can. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free. Just send me a text or a DM on Instagram, and I'd be happy to help you.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit down and talk with us about all things Phi Delta Theta here at Arkansas State. We really appreciate having you today on the show. And I'm Cantrell, and that is all we have for today. So long, A-State.